Guild Wars 2 was not what I expected when I started it. I gave it a try because I couldn't or I didn't want to afford me a sub in Final Fantasy XIV. I have been an MMO enjoyer all my life. The first game I've ever played was Tibia, an old school 2.5D MMORPG. At that time I couldn't afford any subscription at 15 years of age, and my parents couldn't afford it either. So back in the day I played Tibia, and I got to play some Guild Wars 1 because a friend of mine, classmate, lent me his account so I could play some Guild Wars 1 while he was on the hype train playing World of Warcraft. And going forward almost 20 years, I bought my very first gaming PC, well, a laptop. And I played Final Fantasy XIV for quite a while, like 20 hours or so. I really enjoyed it, and I thought, well, I could pay the sub, and then, just like in Tibia, when the premium time runs out, the monthly subscription, you go back to free account. Well, that's not what happened. 2 years later, I found Guild Wars 2 on a random video on YouTube. And I thought, okay, I'll give it a try. And it took me quite a while until I got into Guild Wars 2, because it was like way different. Visually, the gameplay from what I have seen from a newer MMORPG like Final Fantasy XIV. Well, I played the game and I gave me a real chance to try it out, like to redefine what an MMORPG is, right? Because Guild Wars 2 does some things very different than other games. It was just an incredible journey that I made. It took me 120 hours to complete the base game, but not because it was difficult to go through the main story quest or something like that. It was just because I took the time to explore like every inch of Corteria map. Even though a lot of people say the base game is just meh, I actually enjoyed it a lot. I can proudly say after 2.5 years that I have not found any other game that made me feel so immersed in the world and included, especially included, because the people in Guild Wars 2, they are the best. Every time I needed help, there was someone that tried to help me. There were even people that actually didn't know what they were doing, but they tried to help. So that just shows the kind of people that are playing the game. It made me realize that Guild Wars 2 is possibly the last game that I will sacrifice so much time into it. I played the game through. I'm right now in Visions of Eternity, the last few chapters, and sometimes I tell myself, hey yo Eddie, give yourself a break, play some other games. I have like Red Dead Redemption 2, I have The Witcher 3 that I have still to play through. I have, what do I have? I still have to finish The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, but I think I will finish that once I get the Switch 2 in November, because that's when my all-time favorite game gets a re-release, Ocarina of Time. So I'll be putting on some videos about that too, because it's an adventure RPG. You know, we do an RPG games in this channel, and I'm really grateful for the people that I have met. It gave me like a second home. I finally got away from that toxic mentality of MMORPGs to grind like every week for the best gear and doing stuff that I don't like, and feel the pressure of having to play the game just because I pay a monthly sub. And guess what? Look at me, I've played almost 1,000 hours. That is, at my age, full-time job and wife and stuff, I don't see myself going through over it again. This ecosystem that they created from Guild Wars 1, that you can play the story through and do the Hall of Monuments and transfer your achievements or some weapon skins over to Guild Wars 2. And now with Guild Wars 3 on the horizon, it feels like playing Guild Wars 2 is meaningful. I could tell you 1,000 things about what I like about Guild Wars 2, but I think other content creators do it better than me, so I'll just leave it to them. But I have to say, Guild Wars 2 respects your time. There is no endless gear grinding. Once you get to the Ascended gear, which you can get fairly quick, especially if you do buy the game and get to level 80 and do the dailies and weeklies, which are really casual. I can do the weeklies in probably 2 hours max. The world of Tyria feels alive in every aspect. The dynamic events, the world bosses, every zone stays relevant. There are always people in every map. Every class has its unique play styles. Like I said, my warrior, the berserker, is more of a, I don't know, high damage, high APM playstyle, while the Bladesworn is the samurai blade gunner that has to think about a bit more about his movements, or the Paragon that plays like a healer but does also really good damage and boon outputs, etc. Whether you like PvE content, PvP, which plays like a MOBA kind of world versus world, those big fights where you fight over territories, 50 versus 50 people. The game design, it looks really stunning for a game of its age. It's about 14 years old, so don't expect like something Unreal Engine 5 quality of graphics. And Guild Wars 2 is not about rushing to the finish. It's about the journey, the friends you make along. If you would consider to subscribe to see more RPG games, I'm willing to put on the work. I'm getting there, you know. I'll get some World of Warcraft videos out after years not playing the game. I want to retry Final Fantasy XIV, so if you're into that, really cool if you would be here. And give me some likes, because that helps the algorithm and that makes me happy, okay? That's it. Thanks for joining me in this video. Hope to see you next time. Bye bye.